So, normally during this opening segment, I will be hyping up, but I'm not a very happy man after the what I have just watched yesterday. For you guys, would be about an hour before. I've seen clips on and off of it. I've read Facebook everywhere for everyone's comments to have a balanced review, and let's just say I am not happy about Reading Football Club. Not only that, we will be then going to the sports where it's a little bit more positive, where we will be talking about if Thomas Tuchel was right in the words he said against England fans, talking about England cricket as well. Not only that, we'll be talking about the rugby, and we will be doing our predictions for the NFL season and be talking about anything that's been coming up and what's been going on as well. So without further ado, let's get into the Reading segment so I can quickly get this over with. So it'd be a lot shorter show because there's not much to discuss due to international break, but I'm going to save it all to Wednesday for the Reading talk. But I just got to say my point. So let's discuss the 1-1 draw against Exeter City. Before we get into the whole negative side of things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a balanced approach. I'm going to do this from a balanced way and try and be as much neutral to a certain point as I can be. But we're going to be talking about stats to start off with. 52% to our 47%. We had 8 shots compared to their 5, but we only had 1 shot on target, which was the goal. We had 3 shots off target, 4 shots that were blocked, and we had nearly the same amount of passing percentage as each other, 72%. 2 clear-cut chances compared to their 1, 5 corners apiece, 5 offsides compared to their 6. We had a better tackling than they did. We actually won aerial duels today as well, 62% compared to their 38. We made 1 save compared to their none. And we had 14 fouls commit. They made 0 saves. Talking about the lineup as well, I'm really trying to be cool with this as well. Pereira, Ahmed, Burns, and Podri starts straight away for Reading with Mackie Jacob. In the midfield was Wing and Savage, and then Richie, Doyle, Lane, and Marriott were all starting. That meant that Daniel Karawat was on the bench with Yeardom, who is back in action, along with Kelvin Shalaberman, Ben Elliott, Dorset, Kelvin Abuefa, and Stevens as well. Going 1-1, and then the earliest substitution you make is in the 71st minute is 1 player, where you bring him on for Doyle, is ridiculous. Am I the only one who can just see that that's ridiculous? Okay, you're 1-1. You're having to win a game because you currently sit 21st in the relegation zone in the league, 1 point away from Burton Albion, who sit 12th, Rotherham, who sit below us on the same games played but on worse goal difference. Blackpool sit below us, having played 1 game more than us on 8 points, and Peterborough sit rock bottom. If we look at the other games that are played today as well, Stevenage had their game postponed. Wickham were able to beat Wigan 1-0. Burton Albion were able to beat Bolton 3-0. Wimbledon drew with Wimbledon. Port Vale drew with Wimbledon. Rotherham were able to beat Northampton. And Leyton Orient destroyed Doncaster Rovers 4-0. And Stockport beat Blackpool 1-0. Now, I am someone that tries to look at positives. And I am someone that tries to understand the thinking behind things. But there gets to a point where you're ruining your legacy as a former player than you are as someone that's a manager. When we had Ruben Selles, there was an identity, there was an idea, there was the off the field issues, but there was an identity to the way we were going to play. Noel Hunt doesn't have an identity. We have on this channel, I have for the past few weeks, been going over the tactical changes that have to be made if he's going for this and the style of play he wants to go for. These are the tactical changes that you would look at to make things easier for yourself. But what he's doing currently right now is being so stubborn, and he must feel like his job is untouchable. Because if you're under pressure, you don't play the way that you're playing at the moment. When you've got players going over to the away end and getting dogs abuse, which, to be fair, is fair enough to a certain extent. But it gets to a point where if you're a manager, you look at sides of how things improved, right? So let's go through them. When we had under Ruben Sellers, let's go back through managers. If we under Ruben Sellers, the players that improved so much were Bindon, Mbenge, you had Smith, you had Nibs. Wing, you could put in that category to a certain extent. Savage improved so much over time, but did he improve enough? Then you go back before that and you go under Paul Ince. Ironically, you could say the most improved player under Ince was his son. That was it. I can't even think who we had before that. Paunovic, most improved player. Probably say Lucas João. Ejaria, who, by the way, has just been sacked from Spanish First Division. Now, if I'm Reading, I would bring him back in a heartbeat if I could, because he did not get a rough run shape of things, especially with how Dye was doing things and everything else. I don't think he had a fair share. If I could, I would, but knowing that would probably be near on impossible after getting the job in La Liga and the Segunda Division as well. I don't see him dropping down to League One and coming back to Reading again. You got to look at things in a perspective type of way. And this perspective type of way right now is performances are not improving. There's stability off the pitch. You're not going to agree with everything that ever get done, so you just get that out of your fucking mind. With a new owner, you're never going to agree with everything that he does, because you're never going to. That's his club. And I don't understand this thinking behind us fans have to have a say in it. No, you fucking don't. You can have a partial say. He's paying the fucking money. But he also needs to be fucking intelligent now and go, we've got Cardiff coming up next week, and shit is not improving. Do we wait till Cardiff? Because if you think about it, right, according to what I see here on the Reading FC app, right, and I use it a lot, is we've got Cardiff. We then have Northampton, the Tuesday game, where we got a Tuesday night game. We then have Doncaster at home that Saturday as well. We then have a massive gap between Doncaster and Stevenage, which we don't play Stevenage until Thursday, the 6th of November. Is he going to weigh out the next 3 games and then he can have a hiring process until then? Or will he do the sensible thing and try and get things sorted before we have that gap? My honest opinion, I love Noel Hunt as a player and as a man, riding the waves and helping us get through the Dye era to the end until we got Rob that come in. I have utmost respect for him, but he's not a Reading manager. I got told I'm negative. I've got told that I'm overthinking. We need to give him to the end of the season. Fuck that. So something needs to happen. And we will see how things go. Right. Let's get a little bit more positive now, shall we? Because I think it's time to go over to the sports take. And we're now going to go into this and talk about the good things that happen around the world of sport and a little bit of a moan from the England manager. That is correct. We're going to do the talk about the England manager. We're going to talk about the cricket. We're going to be talking about rugby to a certain extent, and we're going to be discussing as well the final our predictions and how we've been getting on so far this series that we can update you guys on at this precise moment. So we will be going through all of that very very soon. So make sure if you haven't already, I need to press the button. Where is it? Here we go. Make sure that you hit the like button. There you go. Hit the subscribe button and stick around for coming because we've got a lot more coming your way for it as well. So we're going to be going through all of that. So make sure you're here with that. But let's get into cricket. England have just beaten Sri Lanka in the World Cup. Carrying on, Sri Lanka were 14 games unbeaten going into this game. And we have now come away with an absolutely incredible victory for the women for this as well. So let me just I want to make sure we get all of the right things up for it. ICC. So we win by 89 runs coming into this. We got 253 runs with 9 outs in 50 overs, and we got them all out in 164 runs as well. At one point, they were so far ahead, 90 something for one, and then they just absolutely collapsed at one point. Around about the 15 to 16 over mark, they were actually matching us with the run rates, and then it just absolutely discombobulated for them, which now is absolutely tremendous for us because I need to get the Cricket World Cup up on my phone so I can have a look at the table. Cricket World Cup, home of that. Thank you very much. I don't want the app because I just want to come on here. I got enough of the fucking apps that I got before, and they just sit there for about 2 minutes and then go away. England now top the group with 6 points, a run rate of 1.86. 3 games played, top of Australia, India, and South Africa for that as well. So that is absolutely brilliant for us. The next game for England will be against Pakistan, and it will be 10:30 in the morning, and that will be the 15th of October. Fuck is the 15th? I want to say Wednesday. I'm fucking right. 15th of October, Wednesday, 10:30 kickoff. It will be England versus Pakistan, one of the toughest tests that we're going to be having. And then next, it will be the 19th, which I think is next Sunday, where we will be playing India. Yes, next Sunday, we'll be playing India 10:30 for that. So that will be absolutely phenomenal to watch. So next up, we're going to be discussing the England manager having a little bit of a moan after the England defeated Wales 3-0 in their home game at Wembley Stadium, saying that the fans were quiet and we were giving them inspiring football, but they were not giving anything back. What I'm going to say to that, very simply, fair. Absolutely fair. We know the England fans, when they're at home, is not the rowdiest bunch. We know the England fans when we have a situation like that don't really turn up. It's the fair weather fans. It's the World Cup when we start to get into it and doing things and the tournaments and the away games. But at the moment, Thomas Tuchel's side have been absolutely phenomenal with that. And for being criticised, it didn't even include the likes of Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish. But at the moment, he is really proving that he's picking players for the positions that he's looking for. And Jordan Pickford is now the first ever goalkeeper to keep 8 clean sheets in consecutive 90-minute performances for England. Now you understand why we're doing that. And to get Wales to lose as well is even better. You can't complain or anything about Wales losing because it's phenomenal to watch on that as well. So it's great to see, and I think he's right. I think that the England fans have to start backing them vocally, and I understand that this is turned into now like the like the parent event now, where you take your kids when they're not at school to go for it. So you can understand why Tuchel is pissed. But at the same time, you've got to understand that's just England for you. Right. Rugby as well. I just want to talk about a little bit about rugby, about Newcastle Red Bulls, because I watched the game yesterday when they faced Sale Sharks. I actually got in from work and was able to see it, but they lost 57-5. Completely, absolutely outplayed Newcastle Red Bulls, who recently sacked their head coach. But they also lost 38-15. To Exeter, lost 39-17 to Saracens ever since, and they haven't won a game. 3 games on a loss now for Newcastle. After the Red Bull overtake, it's going to be a long win back for them. But at the same time, I do feel like rugby is in a very good place now, where when I was watching it, it was just a lot of fun to watch. Bristol Bears able to beat Exeter 18-14, very close games. Northampton beaten Leicester Tigers 32-26. Bath currently beating Gloucester 28-0 at this precise moment, and with Bristol Bears as well. No tie, no try there for Lewis Rees-Zammit as well from that. But interesting times for rugby. More and more viewership. You've got the viewerships going up now from the women's as well. Women's, when they start going back again, that will be interesting to see how they get on with that. I'm presuming more eyes will be on this as well for that. So interesting to see exactly what goes on or what happens from there. But rugby, better place than what it was, and a better way where we are. Right, let's head over now because it is time for this. Very much so. It is the predictions time, and I am now going to share the screen because I had an awful week last week. I'm actually having a good time fantasy wise. Currently sitting second in the overall in the fantasy league where I've never really done it before. But look at the red. Well, yeah, we've had all right. We were doing well until week one. Week one was a bit iffy. Week two did really well. Week three, fucking amazing. Four's been iffy. Week five has not been great. We've still got the Broncos versus the Jets coming, which when you watch this will be that day. So we will find out if the Broncos can pick up the wins here. But Baltimore Ravens, who have not had a good time and losing recently as well against the Texans after losing 44-10 with no Lamar Jackson, and they're going up against the Rams. I'm going to go for Rams here. You watch the fucking Ravens win this. Panthers versus Cowboys. How about those? I hate picking them, but I'm going to have to. Cardinals versus the Colts. Cardinals and Colts both in form, but I will be going. No, the Texans beat the Cardinals, so I'm going for the Colts. Jags versus Seahawks. After their win against the Chiefs, I'm going to go Jags, unfortunately. Dolphins versus Chargers. Psych. I just need something needs to change, and something needs to change very, very quick. After that loss that we had against the Panthers, where I got really excited, and then it just went absolute shit. Next up, we got the Steelers versus the Browns. It's very easy now, isn't it? It won't be long until Shador Sanders is the number one quarterback. 49ers versus the Bucks. I'm going Bucks. Not absolutely sold on the 49ers yet so far. We've got the Raiders versus the Titans. This is shit versus shit, and I'm going with the team that won recently. Bengals versus Packers. After only getting 10 points, but they now have Joey Flacco as their quarterback, but I don't see Joey Flacco beating the Packers for a second time in the space of a couple of weeks. And then we've got Saints versus the Pats. Saints are absolute dog shit, so I'm going Patriots. Chiefs versus the Lions. I am going Lions because they look really good. Falcons versus the Bills. The Bills have to win after losing to the Pats. I don't know how they fucking did that. Bears versus Commanders. I'm going to go Commanders, even though I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Bears. And then the Thursday night football, we have got the Bengals versus the Steelers. I will be going for the Steelers in this game. because I think it's only fair. And then the Rams versus the Jags in the London game. I'm going to go for the Rams. That will be next Sunday as well. So they are all my predictions that I'm going for. Summarize the whole of this video. I'm shit at making predictions. Reading need to have a new manager. I need to have a lie down. And that will do it for us. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow for more, but we're Love with Care. My name's been Mark. You guys have been amazing, and we'll see you guys very soon for more content coming your way.